In this video, we are recapping yesterday's wild severe weather outbreak. After that, we have to talk about even more severe weather going forward as the Storm Prediction Center has issued slight risk outlooks for today, tomorrow, and Friday. Then, looking even farther into the future, we are noticing what could become our next big storm as a very interesting system is brewing in the medium range. Welcome back, y'all. Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast. We were live yesterday for almost 6 hours straight until we literally crashed YouTube. YouTube went down and I couldn't reconnect for almost 10 minutes and we had to make a new stream. But during the stream, what we thought was going to be a mostly tame day ended up overperforming.
Ryan, I can't hear you because of the hail! Getting absolutely pounded in here!
With 338 severe weather reports, 181 of those being for hail, 145 being for damaging wind, and 12 tornado reports. We saw some big hail, scary looking clouds, and strong damaging winds from Omaha, Nebraska all the way down to Kansas. Thankfully, we received no significant reports of injuries or fatalities, but we had flash flooding and severe weather all across a good chunk of the U.S. Now, the weather's just going to keep on keeping on, and so are we, so let's get right into it. All right, starting off by talking about more severe weather possible today. Everywhere in the yellow is under a slight risk of severe weather or a 2 out of 5. And we've got two main areas of interest. The first one starts over here in the panhandle of Texas and goes through Oklahoma. That includes Oklahoma City. This also goes into Arkansas. This includes Little Rock, Pine Bluff, all the way into the Memphis area, into Mississippi and Alabama. And then this other area up here in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, and Kentucky is for a separate set of storms that'll pop up a little bit later this evening. So let's take a look at that on the radar or the simulated radar. Okay, so this is what the radar could look like today around 1 p.m. Eastern. That's always going to be listed above my head. Not exactly what the radar is going to look like, but pretty close. Remember, we've got two main areas of interest down here in the Oklahoma City to Little Rock area. A lot of these storms have already propagated further east than the western extent of the slight risk area, but you can see we've got some strong storms around Pine Bluff and Fort Smith around 1 p.m. This little disturbance has the opportunity, has the ability to become a mesoscale convective system as it goes off to the east. But as of right now, a lot of the convection allowing models are showing that this stays a little bit disorganized and is mainly a hail threat with only an isolated damaging wind threat. As you can see, as we get into 8 p.m. here, we've really skipped a lot of the Mississippi River Valley area as far as intense storms go, but now we're starting to see new stuff pop up here in northern Alabama, southern portions of Tennessee. This is where we saw some pretty significant flash flooding yesterday, and I do believe that these storms are going to bring another round of heavy rain with them that could lead to even more significant flooding. So if you live in a flood prone area down there, make sure you pay attention to weather alerts. These storms are going to move into Atlanta around 11 p.m. and then as they keep going further east as we go later on into the night, as the sun goes down, as we lose that daytime heating, they're going to weaken out pretty significantly and very quickly. Now let's focus on that northern extent of the slight risk from the Storm Prediction Center. You can see around 3 p.m. today we're starting to see some storms pop up. I think we're going to see some heavy rain showers with maybe some hail and wind in Kentucky, even down here into the Appalachian Mountain region, all the way up into West Virginia and Virginia. But some of the stronger storms will pop up in and around Indianapolis. They're going to get pretty strong around Cincinnati today around 4 or 5 p.m. And watch out for an isolated supercell in central Kentucky, which could lead to some potentially large hail and maybe a couple damaging wind reports. In fact, that storm right there is awfully close to your friendly weather dude here. I live over here. I might just hop in the Storm Seeker, use my life savings to get a tank of diesel, and go on a little storm chase today. Make sure you follow me on Twitter so you can see everything that I post in that realm. But yeah, these storms are going to get pretty intense as they go through southern Ohio. 6-7 p.m. tonight, we do expect some large hail, maybe some damaging winds in southern Ohio from Columbus down to the Maysville region. Even Ashland and Parkersburg can expect some pretty strong storms today. And of course, this is going to continue to go off to the east. But once again, once we get into 10 p.m., 11 p.m., into midnight, these storms are going to weaken significantly, okay? We are going to see some heavy rain and some rumbles of thunder in the Baltimore region, maybe all the way over there to Philadelphia. But the further east that this precipitation goes, the more it just turns into a big heavy rain bag and the severe weather potential goes down significantly. So once again, the main threats here are going to be damaging wind and hail, but we can't rule out an isolated tornado or two, especially in that northernmost extent of the slight risk. We do have some ingredients there in the Ohio Valley for a little bit of tornadic activity, but I don't think we're going to see much of anything special out of that. All right, moving moving right along to our day 2 risk. We got a big slight risk over here back in the plains. For tomorrow, this includes Wichita, Tulsa, all the way up there to Kearney and North Platte in Nebraska. We do expect some more severe thunderstorms tomorrow, and it doesn't stop there. Yet another slight risk of severe weather down here in Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana on the day 3 outlook. So we're talking about non-stop severe weather, son. Okay, let's go back to the simulated radar on the high-resolution rapid refresh model here and see what's going on with that slight risk tomorrow. We've got some more energy sliding off the high plains over here in our summertime slippy slide that we've been talking about so much, and this is going to spark some severe weather over here in Kansas, Colorado, maybe even down into New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma. Big-time storms with large hail and damaging winds are going to be possible here from 6 p.m. all the way through the overnight period. I think Dodge City is going to have to watch out for some pretty large storms with big hail, maybe gorilla hail, and of course an isolated threat of a tornado or two. That can't be ruled out. And these storms are going to continue to dip down all the way into the Oklahoma City area, where we have yet another potential for a mesoscale convective system or a straight line damaging wind event to unfold as these storms move through Oklahoma. Even more storms are forming back here in Nebraska and the northeastern portion of Colorado during the overnight period. Once again, I talked about this the other day. It's the summertime slip and slide, son. These storms are just having a blast this summer. And then as these storms exit, as we go into Friday, our summertime slip and slide continues, and now we've got this big time sliding energy. We've got all this cool air that's built up back here pushing down to the south and east, and this could lead to another mesoscale convective system with more severe weather down in this region on Friday, and that's why we have that day 3 slight risk outlook right now. And look at this, guys. Very strong storms popping up in Oklahoma down into Arkansas, and they're going to slide down into portions of Louisiana and Mississippi, and once again they could bring some heavy rain, strong damaging winds, and isolated tornadoes with them. This could end up being a pretty strong damaging wind event, guys, so make sure you pay attention to weather alerts as we go all the way through Friday. And once again, Arkansas is a place that's been seeing a lot of rain. This southeasterly motion of these storms that are set up in a northwest to southeastern fashion is not a good sign. It means you're going to see heavy rain for extended periods of time. So once again, I do want to stress that flash flooding is the #1 killer when it comes to weather, and if you live in a flood-prone area, please take this seriously. And of course, it's always good to have your own radar app that gives you weather alerts and keeps you updated on everything that's going on using the same tools that the National Weather Service and your favorite storm chasers use. It's important that you have that in your toolbox. It's a life-saving opportunity. And with all that being said, we have to shout out today's sponsor, Radar Omega, the best weather app, no cap. Radar Omega is a professional radar app that meteorologists use, storm chasers use, I use, and you can use on your phone, iOS or Android. And with a subscription, you can actually use it on your PC. It's what I use during live streams. This is the most powerful storm tracking app. Radar Omega provides you with high quality NexRad radar data to keep you alert on rapidly changing weather conditions. Not only can you look at radar, but you get your warnings, your severe weather outlooks, and also all kinds of other data through this app. My favorite thing is you can look at satellite data in 3D, and in fact, you can look at model data, radar data, and all that in 3D, and like, how cool is that? I was a big fan of them long before they sponsored me, and I just want people to have this in their toolbox because I believe it's a life-saving product. So what are you waiting for? Hit those links down in the description for iOS or Android to download Radar Omega today. You will not regret it, I can promise you that. Now, let's get back into the video. All right, let's keep it going and talk about our next big storm. That's right, we got another one coming down the pipeline here. We're looking at our 500 millibar wind speeds here, looking for those troughs and kinks. Remember, for a while there, the models were showing zonal flow. They were tricking us with that nice weather, but now we're seeing all kinds of little kinks, all kinds of little screw-ups in our jet stream as it crosses the U.S., and this is going to eventually cause some big problems. So I want to show you our next big storm. As we go all the way out into Saturday and Sunday, things are moving along quite well. We've got some warm air, some nice warm air moving into the south central U.S. We're still going to see our storm sliding down, our slip and slide, but watch what happens here as I go into the 13th. This becomes a very large ridge, right? And you can see a trough is starting to dig down back here. Now, what's happening is a lot of warm, moist air is kind of building up here, and it's not really being played around with, but whenever this trough does decide to eject through, all of that built up energy is going to have to interact with it, and that could lead to a big time storm. This looks like it could end up being a pretty serious situation up there in the northern plains, as this is a full-on trough ejection all the way through Thursday and Friday, June 17th. And then, of course, that gets replaced with another big ridge, a death ridge here with blazing heat.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Back into June 17th. So our pretty tame weather pattern is about to get a wrench thrown into it by this trough right here, which could cause severe weather on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe even Thursday. And you can watch that moisture go up into the central U.S. very clearly here, starting on the 10th, going into the 11th. Look at that propagation of 60 and 70 degree dew points all the way up into Canada. It's important to notice too that that trough that's building back here is going to send some very cool and dry air right into it. So we could see the formation of some big time severe thunderstorms and possibly even tornadoes here if this comes together just right. And look at that, son. It gets knocked out, carried all the way to the east coast, and then already starts to rebuild as that new ridge starts to form up here way back on June 17th. Another thing that we can look at here is the convective available potential energy, or the CAPE, or the cake. That's what we like to call it here, because storms love cake. They gotta eat, son. And there's plenty of storm food being lofted up into the north central U.S. Look at that, man. Maybe some CAPE values in Iowa around 6,500 joules per kilogram. You kidding me? No, I'm not kidding you. But the thing is we really don't know what's going to come out of this. We know that there's going to be a big ridge followed by a trough ejection. We know that there's going to be energy in place up here for some storms to form. There's plenty of cake in the atmosphere for these storms to just gobble up. But this is so far out now. Remember, we're talking about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So that's almost a week out. So a lot will change. But I'm telling you right now, this weather guy is watching it closely. I've got my laser focus in on this storm. If we look at our instantaneous flash rate, which shows us where dense areas of lightning strikes could occur as we go into the future on the Euro model here, you can see that summertime slip and slide of storms continues to be the show stealer as we go all the way through June 10th and 11th. But around the 12th and 13th, that's when the story could change. That's when a wrench gets thrown into our pattern and they stop sliding off to the south and east because there's finally a trough to eject them off to the north and east. And that's just, we're going to bring in more ingredients and cause more problems up there. Here's some of those supercells that could possibly be going off on the 13th. Don't put too much stock in this. This is just giving us a general idea. But you can see there, some big time storms are going to be possible in the northern U.S. all the way through June 16th, 17th. Another thing that I want to point out here is as that ridge builds up in anticipation for our trough ejection, this big area of warm, moist air that forms here is going to lead to even more summertime, daytime, constant pop-up convection. You see how every once in a while we get a blip like this around 2 to 5 p.m. There's going to be summertime pop-up thunderstorms all across the southeastern U.S. almost daily as we go through this period until we get into a pattern that is not constantly lofting Gulf moisture in this area right here. So it's going to be very nice. The weather's going to be very good, but every once in a while you get those big thunder boomers that kind of cause some problems with flash flooding and small hail and stuff like that. All right, I think that's all I got for you today. Hey, super huge shout out to all of our members over here. Thanks to everybody who became a member yesterday. You are very much appreciated. Just an update for you, not today and not tomorrow, but the next day I'm going to be leaving for vacation. I'm leaving the weather room. I'm packing up the family. We're going on a little trip. So during that time period, I probably won't be able to do live streams, but I still plan on doing videos every once in a while to update you on the weather. I'm just not going to be here in the weather room. I might be on the beach somewhere. So it'll be different. It'll be fun, but make sure you subscribe to the channel and stay tuned because we are still going to be keeping you updated here all the way through. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.